What is going on, everybody? Back on it. One Piece 415. It looks like we finally might start getting some progress here with moving forward with the whole, hey, we need to get off this island. Ace is going to be executed. A war is going to start type thing. It seems like we'll come out of this. We're going to hopefully have some kind of constructive conversation here between Luffy and Boa. And, you know, I would suspect that Luffy is going to find out about the whole Ace situation from her, or maybe the old woman, you know, a combination of the two. We kind of got the fight, a little bit of the fight, not really much of a fight. I would have liked to have seen Luffy take it a little bit more serious from the beginning, especially given what just happened to his entire crew. Like, I understand what Gear 2 and Gear 3 do to his body, but that's kind of like, you worry about that after the fact, just because of how traumatic the last experience was. It would have been interesting to show, like, if they worked it into the last couple episodes, him being unable to help save Margaret right there as they're like threatening to like crush her frozen stoned body, that he starts getting like flashbacks of, you know, Zoro disappearing, Nami disappearing, Robin disappearing, you know, as he's trying to like find the power to get out of there. I feel like that was just like a layup toss that they could have like worked into there. But they never did. Luffy didn't take it serious like he never does, like he ever always does. But regardless, we're still here. Hopefully we'll get a good explanation on what's going on with the things on their backs. Because I didn't know we were like considering it like a serious thing after Luffy had looked directly at it and nothing happened. So I don't know if you had to possess a certain like baseline level of power. I have absolutely no idea. Hopefully we'll get a constructive conversation here. We can come out of this. And like I said, it's going to take her cooperation for us to get out of here. We also don't know where we're going. He can't man a ship solo, so he's going to need all the assistance that he can get. And I'm going to be very curious, because I'm assuming that, like, you know what's another interesting thing that I was thinking about, of like, very Hunter x Hunter related, but you know, when like they're all decently strong, like they've gotten their hunter licenses, but they still have like their journeys just started as far as like learning Nen and those type of things, and we all had to go out and find our individual Nen teachers. I'm curious, like with this split up here that we have, who knows where everyone's spread out to, if everybody will kind of run into their own Haki teacher, you know. And then that's like the next step for them. Like, you're a good pirate, like good start out, but like if you're considering yourself like on your next level, like Zoro, if you want to beat Mihawk and Luffy, you want to conquer the Grand Line and like these type of things, you guys have like no idea what you're getting yourselves into if you don't have this. And like, could she be our teacher, or at least start us down the path? I'm curious if like everybody, oh, not everybody, like I don't see Nami or Chopper or Robin or Frankie becoming these like Haki conqueror, Haki level masters, but just essentially probably Luffy, Zoro, maybe an excuse can be made for Sanji. I don't see any of the other crewmates, I guess, having it mentally in them to need to possess that power. But it's an interesting thing, because the crew's gonna make it back together. Nobody's gonna die. Like, they're all gonna make it back together. I don't know how many episodes it's gonna take. Hundreds maybe, but I'm assuming the formula for One Piece is going to stay the same. Like, when the crew gets back together, that we're going to run into crews or to groups to where, you know, Luffy takes out the big bad, Zoro takes out like second in command, Sanji deals with whoever's next, and then it kind of like trickles down from there. But like, as we keep going forward and deeper into the Grand Line, we might start running into crews like this, to where they know what Haki is. They all possess Haki themselves. They have these type of abilities, and there's no way that like I mean, they make Usopp and Chopper and Nami and the rest do some interesting things to get out of these fights, or very specific circumstances, or just happens to be luck of the draw. And you write it that way on purpose, because you know they possess little to no skill. But I would like to think that we're going to run into crews that like all of the crew members know Haki. And those little power poles and the little rumble ball that he eats, or Sanji thinks he can just kick everybody around and not know at least a base level of Haki themselves. I don't know how we get by as a group given how the formula always goes, where we're like, we keep going to these new places, fighting these people, and they're stronger and stronger. I'm assuming the next stronger and stronger is going to be like, even the lowest crew member possesses Haki or the ability of it. And then what the hell do we do if the rest of the crew, besides Luffy and Zoro, have no idea what that is? So I don't know. Will we get to that point? That sounds like it could be hundreds of episodes away, but we'll see. We'll see. Yo, he's carrying her so recklessly. You don't want those smoke. You don't want that smoke. I actually would like to see her go down there and toss him around a little bit, just to show the power dynamic of it. But we won't get it. Bro, he was dragging her around, putting her down on her finger. That shit would have snapped. Haha. Can they be turned back? I would think they would be able to. That'd be pretty fucked. Yeah, I was about to say. She probably has that power. You don't know that. Why? Alright, now she's just being a bitch about it. I thought we were turning a leaf with her, maybe not. He'll choose to turn them back. Yeah. He'll find another way. He'll find another way to get off the island to his crewmates. That he would still pick them over his own crew. It's pretty dope. Ah! Impossible! Bro, he doesn't know any of these things that you're stating. That was his wish, so you said you'd grant it. Grant it. I love what they did with her eyes right there. I mean, if he's got to get on a single plank of wood and row himself just to get to another island that might be more helpful, he'd do that. You know, it'd be fucked if you just like flipped them and they fell apart. Ay, 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 ay. I would love to, because I think we've yet to run into anybody and have actual relations with them that aren't Marine, that are stronger than us, you know? Ace, but we've had little interaction with Ace. Blackbeard, but we had little interaction with Blackbeard. It's like quick on screen, off screen. I want to see Luffy hanging around somebody that is stronger than him, but isn't like a Marine, because we've ran into stronger Marines, Okaji, Kizaru, Kuma, etc. But we've yet to run into like a stronger ally that we might learn from. I guess Rayleigh, but again, it's short-lived. So maybe Boa can give us that. They have no idea. Are we not going to find out more information about the things on their backs? Well, damn, that's convenient. I hate her so much. Eh? Come on, give us a productive conversation. First of all, can we drop our names so we can start getting some things like situated here? It's no more. We don't have time for giggle games and talks of meat in my mouth and things like that. See what I'm saying? Man's talking about meat. What the hell? Hmm? Okay. She's trying to seduce him and like show his true nature and shit. What are we doing here? Are we gonna show it? What? Who was that? That was such a quick silhouette. I couldn't tell what I was looking at. Definitely a person. Looked like a Whitebeard crewmate or something for there for a second. Let me get them. Let me get a good look at that thing. Let me see it. Okay, now I don't know what that is. And why is it not affecting him? It's like four-pointed sun we got going on here. He said he'd seen it. Come on, speak. And speak respectfully. Oh, he did have... I was about to say, wait, Hachi did have a... Oh, no, he didn't. I'm about to say, can we gotta let's get to the bottom of some conversations here, guys. Everybody's beating around the bush and doesn't want to say this, doesn't want to help that. We don't even know Luffy's full first and last name. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we fucked up there a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, now we're kind of in a bad spot, as you could tell. Was it? I totally forgot about that. We still have yet to get confirmation on why Kuma did what he did. What else is in that newspaper? Fluff that celestial dragon. Yeah? Lady, can we put on a shirt? There's so much to unpack with her character. It's going to take a long time till we get to the bottom of that. A long time. I'm assuming she's had some really bad run-ins with some celestial dragons. I mean, it's like we see emotion out of her, and then they take like 2 steps back, and then we see a little bit. I think we might get some crazy lore out of her backstory when we get to it. If we get to it. They're dragging it. Granny's still shot. Sister's still shot. Luffy still shot. Back to everybody still shot. Is it a brand? The claw of the celestial dragon. Oh. And it could turn people to stone? Or is that just like what we make up? I don't know. get this permanent brand to show. Eh? Fed? Once what? They're breaking out in fucking cold sweats and shit? Ah, it is. Okay. That's what I figured. It was a brand of some kind of shit, like lesser than or property of, and she said slaves. So that was not Nico Robin's typical cutscene soundtrack. Does the government know that they've put prior celestial dragon slaves in a position of a warlord, in position of some serious power? I'm gonna think that they don't know that. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, damn. Animation looks great this episode, by the way. So what is Hachi's, though? Is Hachi's like a fishman stamp of slavery? Like these are human slaves? Oh, that's what the picture was. I saw the big like white grin reflection that they had. I thought it was like a white beard emblem. I'm curious if the one that Hachi has on his forehead that looks like more like a sun instead of a claw. Are we still talking about the marks being the same? And they just use it to distinguish like human slave, fisherman slave? Yeah, I thought that was a white beard face right there. How did they get out of that? Oh god. He needs to know, though. He needs to know all of it. So how do you go from celestial dragon slave to a one of one damn near position? Eh? Mm-hmm. Climbed the red line with his bare hands. Oh, we're getting some fucking lore here now. Is this anybody we've seen or heard of before? Fisher Tiger? I'm guessing he didn't survive. So he's a fisherman, but he helped all the slaves. Giants, humans, fishermen. How did her two sisters get so massive, by the way? Her other sister's got a massive head already, but... I'm always interested in people's size in this show. I don't think we've ever seen that guy's face before. Shit, once the fishermen get in the sea, they're gone. Is it the one that Hachi has? Oh, he formed the Sun Pirates. Did all the Sun Pirates have that on them? Ah, they rebranded it. Okay. That's what it is. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Okay. That's what Hachi has on his forehead. Damn. So Hachi went from that, then to that, then to Arlong, and yeah, it's made to look like that. Mm-hmm. So he went from captured slave to a sun pirate to Arlong henchman. Oh, they're saying he's already dead. Mm-hmm. Mark on our backs. But what's the whole turn to stone thing about? Do they just say that? Oh, they were forced to eat the devil's fruit. I don't think anything would happen. Because it would have been known that they were former slaves. Or everybody knows what that symbol is. So I don't think it turns anybody to stone. That's just the story that they go with. I don't think that's an actual thing, correct? Like, it's just the story they make up. I wouldn't mind them telling their island, but the problem is you can't trust that that word won't get out there, and then you never know what might happen to that information. Because like I said, does the world government know that they've made a former celestial dragon slave a 1 of 8 warlord? I'm going to assume that the answer to that is no. I was about to say, and like she's like talks about the island and everything, but like why is she such a bitch? I agree with the old lady. What? Why don't you show some more emotion? Things might... Okay, let them have this conversation. They need to get this out of their system. True. How do they get so massive? Hi. Alright, so we've got confirmation in that, right? There's no like actual turn people to stone if you look at this. It's just what we keep up to so no one sees it. Does she think her warriors and her island and her crewmates would just think less of her knowing that she was a slave? Do you think that the people, the inhabitants of her island would feel like they're in danger, knowing that she was formerly a celestial dragon slave? That they might be in danger if that word ever gets out, that the whole island might be in danger if they know that like a former slave is here, escaped slave? Maybe. I still don't know what to make of her. And that, whoa, we just ended like that? Holy shit. Okay, that just ended. I still don't know what to make of her character. I mean, we got a lot of emotion there, so maybe we'll get rid of like the outer shell type thing. It took Nico Robin a little bit to open up as well. Alright, so we got information on that. That was pretty crazy though. Yeah, this shot was kind of insane, I'm not gonna lie. I like this shot right here. So when they showed it quick flashing in her like original flashbacks here, seeing that like big white grin made me think of the tattoo that Ace has of like, I guess to let it known that he's like a white-beard pirate. So again, some great world building information there. Fisher Tiger, whatever his name is, I don't know if they didn't bother really showing us what he looked like because he actually is dead, so there's really no reason to like waste time on a character. I mean, not that it's a lot, they could have slapped some random shit together, but it's like, why waste time into a character design of someone that's dead that we're not going to have any plot points going forward with the story? Or word on the street is that he is dead, but he's actually not dead, and we'll get that revealed later on. TBD. Like I said, again, I'm assuming he doesn't turn anything to stone, but it was so weird because when he first looked at it, when she was in the bath, and the sisters busted in there, and they were like, he looked at my back. Didn't they make the comment that like, oh, and he didn't turn into stone? Like they were like, wait, what? Like how didn't he turn into stone? The way I'm taking it is that the whole turn into stone thing is just a little white lie that they tell so that nobody looks at it, to keep up the whole impression of like they don't want their past out there. Now there could be a whole slew of reasons for that. Like I said, is the island not going to respect her, really want to follow her, or consider her strong anymore, knowing that she was like a former slave? Would the inhabitants, would the other girls on the island think that their lives might be in danger, knowing what that mark means, knowing that you were a former celestial dragon slave, and they just don't let those walk away? What happens if the word gets out that like you're here? Then the whole island's in danger. And then you could take it as like, what if word gets out back to the Marines? They're like, hey, one of those warlords you have, by the way, they were a former celestial dragon slave, or just a former slave in general, whatever the term is. Because if I had to bet money, I'm going to assume that that's not a thing. Like celestial dragon slaves, like moving their way up. I could see maybe I'm going to assume, I don't know this for sure, but you know how we're like, okay, like we have our group of pirates. Not all of them are like Bellamy level pieces of shit, you know? We've seen like Garp and Okaji. Not every Marine higher up is a piece of shit. I'm going to assume that maybe not every celestial dragon is a piece of shit. There might be like one out there. I'm trying to think. There's no way celestial dragons gonna be able to work their ways up. A slave. Maybe one of the owners that's not a piece of shit helps release, like they like to release their slaves into, you know, maybe just lower level Marines, or, you know, anything to like give them a little bit of status or something like that. But I just don't see a known slave being able to work their way up like that and everybody not, you know, make a big deal out of it. I know they said that there's a fishman warlord, but I think they just do that to like quell the masses. Like, hey, look, we have a fishman warlord. See, we're not racist, right, guys? Right. But again, even with him though, I don't think he'd be. They put a former fishman slave into that position, so I'm assuming the government doesn't know about that either. So we'll see. I'm waiting. What I'm waiting for, kind of like the moment that I'm waiting for, that Darth Vader moment, that Griffith eclipse moment, because we know it's coming, that information. Luffy getting the information about Ace. This has been going. We got word of this back in Thriller Bark. So what has it been? 30, 40 or so episodes? Maybe slightly more, slightly less, that us as a viewer has known of Ace's execution. And then they've dropped it in like 2, 3, 4 more times of, at the last archipelago arc bullshit, they dropped it in there like, oh shit, Ace's execution, this could start a war. Dropped it in again about recruiting people for Wiper, and then dropped it in again here at the start of this arc. That's how we ran into Boa the first time. So like, the masses seem to know that like what's happening, except for the man's brother himself. So we're waiting for that. I would also like to see Garp and what's the dragons, Monkey D, Dragon D, Luffy, I don't know, whatever his name is, because that's his father, correct? I'd like to see their reactions, especially Garp's. Even though we got a little, I don't know, I've seen 2 iterations of Garp in the live action and in the anime. I prefer the anime one 10 out of 10 times, but the live action one at least did seem to show like there's an underlying level of care there for his grandson, even though in live action and in the anime we've never seen interactions between Garp and Ace. But I would assume the same care that he has for Luffy, at least that was shown in the live action, is there for Ace as well. So how does he feel? And it's not like he lives under a rock. He probably was one of the first people to know that they were going to execute him. So how does he feel about that? Do we get that stuff? Who knows? But we'll go ahead and leave it there and see. Appreciate it, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, and as always,